comic book haul and giveaway for February 2021. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, comic book fan. I've got another end of the month comic book haul and giveaway. Watch the video to find out how to enter the giveaway. As for the moment, let's get to the comics. First up at Marvel, I've got, hey, look at this cover. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 55, second printing. This is the Gleason cover that everyone loved. First printing was white. Everyone lost their minds over it, so here's the second printing, and I've got the third printing on order as well. So if you want more Spider-Man webbed up, here it is right on the cover. Speaking of a second print, and speaking of another comic book that everyone wanted and flipped out that they didn't get, we have Star Wars The High Republic number 1, second print, introducing Keeve Dennis. Oh, but I also have to have the third printing right here in this issue, Jedi vs. Jedi. This is interior art. I believe this is interior art as well. So yeah, Star Wars High Republic, everyone wants this book, and here I have first, second, and third printing, no big deal. Here's another printing of another book that everyone loved, Daredevil number 25, with interior art in black and white. This is the third printing of the book. I have third and second print. I was not able to get first print. I'm not really reading Daredevil, but I thought the cover looked pretty cool. Elektra as Daredevil, and it's a third printing, low print run, so perfect for my collection. Alright, I did get Gwenom vs. Carnage number 1, but the regular cover. I didn't get the Inhyuk Lee cover that shot up to $100 on day one. But then I got the second printing here, which features a spoilerific cover of what happens inside the book. If you haven't read it, you might be able to figure out what happened. But anyway, Inhyuk Lee has amazing art. And here they have the Carnageized MJ from Earth 65. Second printing. I picked up a bunch of Black History Month covers, variants. So here we have Miles Morales number 23. Then we've got Black Panther number 23. We've got Avengers number 42. We've got Champions number 4. Iron Man number 6. And X-Men number 18. All of these are by Sousa as the cover. All of these are for Black History Month. We've got Miles Morales Spider-Man, we've got T'Challa Black Panther, Rhodes as War Machine, Blade as Blade, Ororo Munroe as Storm, and Riri Williams as Ironheart. So very cool variant covers for Black History Month. Did someone say Peach Momoko? So I have got another Peach cover here. This features Laura Kinney X-23, the new Wolverine. Issue number 18, a very cool cover with a couple of wolves, her blades, cool Momoko expression and style. So I got it for the cover. And lastly at Marvel, I got Star Wars number 10, first appearance of Starlight Squadron. Luke Skywalker has a yellow lightsaber. What is going on? Well, you've got to read the story because it's the Rebel Code. Next up at DC, I have got some amazing Future State covers. This is the Red X variant cover for Teen Titans number 2, the cardstock cover, which makes it a little bit more pricey for some reason. Amazing cover here of Red X. Spoiler alert, he was revealed in issue number 1, but here's issue number 2, and I'm sure you read issue number 1 already. An amazing Rachel and Terry Dodson collab here for Future State Wonder Woman Superman number 2. I always like the Dodsons' work. They're a very cool husband and wife team that works on comics for Marvel and DC, Image as well. And here we have Yara Flor, the new Wonder Woman, and one of the Supermans. Which one is that one? Not Jonathan Kent, but one of the Supermen right there. And then we've got this amazing Jenny Frison Future State Wonder Woman number 2 right here. Joelle Jones doing the story, Jordi Belair as well, and this is just an amazing cover with the red tones and Yara Flor Wonder Woman. Just so amazing, such a beautiful cover. That's gonna go on the wall. Over at Image, I picked up Radiant Black number 1. So this is the book that was having a lot of big buzz, a lot of big hype. Got my own copy right here, one of the variant covers. Can't wait to sit down and fully read it. It's basically the new superhero shared universe in Image Comics. For the WTF of the day, Image is also publishing Stray Dogs. Now, that font looks like Stranger Things, and the character looks like a Don Bluth Disney character. It's basically The Secret Life of Pets meets Seven. That's what the blurb on the back says. Fun art, very cartoony art, with a very dark story. This is over from Image. Speaking of a dark story, The Department of Truth, number 5 and number 6. I'm reading this series. I love it. It is terrifying. Interior art is stupendous. That's by Simmons. And then we've got Tinian as the writer. So basically, what if every conspiracy theory you've ever heard of is actually true? And the worst of it, it's because we will them to life. Oh, I just noticed here, Tinian, Chartier, Hollingsworth. Huh, interesting. So I just noticed that we had Tinian and Simmons as the interior artist who did the covers, but then on number 6, what happened to Simmons? Did they change their name, or did the Department of Truth get to them? Can't wait to read it. Here's an oldie but a goodie, The Walking Dead number 1 Deluxe. If it looks a little bit different than the other Walking Dead number 1 that you've recently seen, it's because this is the second printing. Image is doing the second printing variants, which is a zombified Rick, a zombified Glenn, a zombified Lori, a zombified Coral, a zombified, what's her name again? I know you're shouting it out. What is her name again? Sorry, it was on the tip of my tongue before I started the video, but not forgetting Angela? No, that's not her name. And then a zombified Abraham. So these are all the second printing variant covers. There's also a black and white version of them. And this is a redux of The Walking Dead in full color with Robert Kirkman's commentary at the very end. And they're like totally heavy. Anniversary of Skybound The Walking Dead. Moving over to Dark Horse, the final issue of Stranger Things versus Dungeons & Dragons. Yes, I know it says and, but I like saying versus. This is a collab between Dark Horse and IDW. Dark Horse has the rights to publish Stranger Things, but then IDW has the rights to publish Dungeons & Dragons. So I was getting these variant covers with the amazing depiction of the character from the show, and then their character in D&D. So it's kind of a little bit of a prequel plus a sidequel of what's going on with the characters actually playing Dungeons & Dragons. Jody Houser's the writer on that. And then we've got Fear Case number 1 over at Dark Horse. This is one of the variant covers. This is a weird mystery, horror, adventure, crime sort of comic where some mysterious briefcase, a black briefcase, has existed in various points in history when a disaster strikes. And now the case has gotten to the hometown of the two main characters with danger inside of it. So it's issue number 1. Now let's pause for the cause to talk about the giveaway. So the February giveaway will be over on the Patreon. Visit patreon.com/vmcampos. There is a post there on how to enter the giveaway. Basically, you have to join the Patreon. At the lowest level, you pick the tier. Tiers are limited, and if you get one of those tiers, you will actually win a cool comic book. Again, check the post on Patreon to see what is the possibility of you winning. No, it will not be this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1. That will be one of the winnings. Check the post, you'll see what it is, and if you like it, go ahead and enter, and if you don't, no worries. Moving on. Why am I showing my copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1? Just to show it off. It's a 5th printing. I bought it like 1 or 1.5 years ago or whatever, before the prices of turtle books skyrocketed. This one is like triple the price now of what I bought it just a few years ago. It's the 5th printing of Ninja Turtles, one of my favorite comics of my youth. Back to the show. Over at IDW, I'm picking this one up on the reg, The Comic Book History of Animation. Now this is issue number 3. I have issue number 1. I don't know what happened that the comic shop didn't get my issue number 2, and then I got issue number 3. Well, I gotta track down number 2. Anyway, this is by Fred Van Lent and Ryan Dunleavy. They have collaborated for the 3rd time to create this amazing history of comic books and animation in the medium. They did one on comic books. They did a 2nd volume, which I forgot what it was about, but it was also amazing. Now here's the 3rd one about animation. And here we're getting to animation in the 60s. So this is a history. If you like history of comics and animation in this medium, you need to be reading this series over at IDW by these creators. Track down Volume 1 and Volume 2, and now Volume 3 is currently publishing, so you can get on board with it. Really enjoyable series. Next up, I got Usagi Yojimbo, Wanderer's Road, number 3 and number 4 for the Peach Momoko covers. So Usagi Yojimbo, the rabbit Ronin that has been around for 35 years, created by Stan Sakai. Sakai recently moved Usagi over to IDW, where it was previously publishing for like literally 25 years over at Dark Horse. So Dark Horse is kind of going a little wacky with a bunch of reprints, because this is a reprint of a reprint. Wanderer's Road is reprinting their Usagi Color Classics that they printed, I believe, 6 or 7 issues of, and now they're reprinting those reprints, and I think the only thing that's different is the cover. Joke's on me, because I bought it for the covers, because of course, Peach Momoko covers. So number 3 and number 4, I've got number 1 and number 2. Something that's kind of interesting is that Usagi nowadays uses this sort of top cover over here where they kind of waste a lot of space on the top of the comic where it's less art. But number 3 did it slightly different, where it's a white top instead of the color, and then it really focuses on Momoko's art. And I love this cover. This one's also very cool. It would be really interesting to see a full story by Peach Momoko of Usagi Yojimbo, but I'll settle for the covers. I'm also reading on the reg Sonic the Hedgehog, is issue number 37 at IDW. Archie Comics was publishing Sonic for 25 years as well, until just a little while ago, and I love this cover. It's so detailed. There's so many Chaos Gems and all that cool stuff to look at, and there's Eggman and Amy, and where's my girl Rogue at? Over there. So this is such a cool cover. This is cover B, so much detail. I kind of love it. And this is the art style that I wish to one day be able to draw as. If you couldn't get your hands on Star Wars The High Republic, how about Star Wars The High Republic Adventures number 1? This is being published over at IDW, so don't sleep on this one if you're into the High Republic saga. The regular Marvel issue sold out, going up there in big bucks, but IDW is publishing their own version of things. Interior art by Tolibao, which I love, although it feels a little bit more edgy than what you would expect from the more kid-friendly all-ages version that IDW publishes. But if you need more Star Wars, head on over to IDW. At IDW, you can also pick up The Last Ronin, definitely not for kids. This is the 3rd printing, the Kevin Eastman cover. This book has been completely flying off the shelves. Variant covers are hitting the stratosphere. Here's a 3rd printing, where it recounts the tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the far-flung apocalyptic future. Speaking of subsequent printings, moving over to Boom, we have 7 Secrets number 1, 5th printing. That is unheard of in these more independent publishers. Over at Marvel especially, yeah, it'll go to 4, 5, 6, 7 printings, no problem. And if you're a collector in the year 2020 and 2021, subsequent printings now, if you're a collector, those are big bucks. It used to be anything besides first printing was trash. Line the birdcage with it. But now collectors, I guess because of COVID and rampant eBay speculation, want subsequent printings. Well, Boom, with their 7 Secrets comic, has done very well, and this has gone then to 5th printing. Beautiful orange cover, and the first issue to jump in on the story. Another fascinating book over at Boom is We Only Find Them When They're Dead. This is a futuristic story where humanity is pushed to the brink of extinction and they have to cannibalize the corpses of dead gods in space. This is also a 5th printing. If you go back to a previous haul, you'll see that I got issue number 1, first printing, and here we have a 5th printing of this series. So another low print run comic to add to the collection. Moving over to Dynamite, I picked up the Vampirella Valentine's Day Special, as well as the Red Sonja Valentine's Day Special. Now, is it just me, or is Dynamite all simply just known nowadays as the Vampirella / Red Sonja publishing company? So anyway, these are one-shots. These are Valentine's Day 2021 covers. I believe there was a cosplay cover for the Vampirella one, but I wasn't able to get it, although I do love this monochromatic one. And then, of course, the cosplay cover is amazing. Very authentic outfit, what little there is of it on Red Sonja. Speaking of cosplay and Red Sonja, I also picked up Sonjaversal number 1. This is basically Crisis on Infinite Sonjas. So it's just kind of like their multiverse spanning sort of comic about Red Sonja. There's Red Sonja Black Sonya, Gold Sonya, Hell Sonya, Angel Sonya. There's so many Sonyas in this. And this is, of course, the cosplay cover. Because if you watch my other videos, I always talk about always get the cosplay covers. And this is Dynamite, issue number 5 of 5. It's their zombie crossover extravaganza cosplay cover. The regular Red Sonja series, I also picked up the cosplay cover. This is issue number 23. Same cosplayer as the previous book. It seemed that they did one photo shoot one day and got as many poses as they could for these covers. As evident by also having the Red Sonja The Superpowers number 2 cosplay cover. And let's not let Deja Thoris out in the cold, because we have the Dynamite number 4 of 5 Deja Thoris cosplay cover. Queen of Barsoom indeed. Vengeance of Vampirella has been pretty fun. This is Vampirella returning to save the last remnants of humanity. Another cosplay cover, a little bit more of an environment in here. Very faithful outfit on Vampirella. Vampirella also has her Dark Powers comic, where she teams up with an interdimensional team. We have another cosplay cover variant over here. And lastly, one more Vampirella. This is issue number 17, another cosplay cover. And as you can see with all of these cosplays that I've shown, there are many fine assets to enjoy with all of these variant covers. We're in the home stretch, and let's talk about King Tank Girl number 3. Now, I was enjoying the resurgence of Tank Girl that happened, I don't know, 5 years ago or something over at Titan Books. Martin and Parson resurrected Tank Girl, and Alan Martin, who co-invented Tank Girl, is back writing, and Martin Parson, I forget their names, but Parson is doing the interior arts, which I love. I love his style of Tank Girl art. I really equate it with Tank Girl nowadays. Sorry, Huel, but it's all good. Anyway, I was reading the various Tank Girl series, 2 Girls, 1 Tank, Tank Girl Gold, World War Tank Girl, etc., 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 and I wanted to pick up, of course, King Tank Girl, but apparently my comic shop forgot that I asked for them, because this is the only one that they've given me so far, so I have to track down issue 1 and 2. I also noticed something here. This is apparently now being published by Albatross Funny Books, who also publishes The Goon. I don't know if they've fully left Titan, but they were published at Titan for several years, and now they're over at Albatross. So as long as I have Martin and Parson on it, who cares who publishes it? Over at Ablaze, a series that I'm reading that I'm really enjoying is Unsacred Volume 2, issue number 3, and I also got issue number 4. So this is Mirka and Andolfo's Unsacred series. It's a hilarious, sexy comedy with angels and devils. We've got Damiano, who married Angelina, and they're in wedded bliss with a child, and this is Volume 2 that takes place after the courtship that happened in Volume 1, and here we have the domestic bliss sort of aspect of the stories, along with some other supernatural stuff. So this is a pretty fun story, very cool art by Andolfo, and I'm reading it on the reg. Here's a brand new Rick and Morty series, Rick and Morty Worlds Apart. This is suggested for mature readers, just because there's some sexy dragon stuff here, compared to the other Rick and Mortys. This is a variant cover, cover B. I love the close-up on the character. Just more Rick and Morty if you like Rick and Morty. And if you like Rick and Morty, we also have Rick and Morty Presents Deathstalkers number 1. Taking the character from that episode, giving him his own comic book. And I think that's what they do pretty well in the comics, that they take a character that might have been there in 1 or 2 episodes in the show and giving them a much more full-featured comic. Did you get your hands on A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night over from Behemoth Comics? I didn't. I don't think I did, but here is a second printing of it. Interior art is really cool. It's black and white. It's very bleak. This is based on a movie. This is the second printing. Beautiful black and red cover from the resurgence of horror comics that have happened in the last few years. I got this book mostly for the cover, Hollow Heart. This is from Vault. I'm really enjoying this cover. I love the purples and the blues of it. The interior art is good, and the story is something about a man who now he's just a bunch of organs in a biosuit living in constant pain and such. So interesting story as well, sci-fi story. Amazing cover. There's a variety of variant covers, but this is the one that I really liked. One more Vault book. This is I Walk with Monsters #1, second printing. I like this sort of trade dress, this classic Marvel Comics trade dress. There's another horror book. The main character and her friend stalk and kill bad people. He can turn into a monster, and that's part of what the story's about. Monsters walk beside us all. Sometimes they lurk within. On a lighter note, the Three Stooges, Through the Ages #1. This is from American Mythology Productions, who is celebrating 5 years. This has got 3 stories. I like them in subsequent order of the art-wise. The very first story is kind of realistic, it's okay. The second one is a little bit cartoonier, and the third one is even more cartoony, but very detailed. So I really like that it's this anthology series of Three Stooges. The Three Stooges are my favorite comedy team. Happy birthday, American Mythology Productions, and thanks for another Three Stooges comic. All right, Space Riders Vortex of Darkness #2. This was published a little while ago, and I previously reviewed issue #1, and if you go back to that review, you will see that I was shook, as the kids say. I enjoyed that first issue so much, I reread it right away, and I rarely do that with comics. I've got so many to read, of course. But I read that first issue, the art was amazing, the story was tremendous, totally weird and wacky and violent, and I went back and reread it. So it kind of fell through the cracks. I never got issue #2, and I asked the comic shop to reorder it for me. They did, I finally got it. I'm going to get issue 3 and subsequent issues, cannot wait. So I finally can get the continuation of this Black Mask comic. Just look at that art. And to finish up, we have another one of these weird, grungy, underground comics with an X style of books. Phantom Starkiller, first issue. Now this is the 3rd printing, because this is another book that came out, people loved it, it totally sold out, and it's $100 on eBay. Well, here's the 3rd printing. So I don't really know too much about this comic. I haven't read it yet. This looks like a Skeletor looking guy with a lightsaber. But it was very, very hot, and I wanted to check it out myself, and this is the 3rd printing, so add that to the collection, to the reading pile. So it was a big haul this time around. As you can see, a big variety of comics. Tell me what you thought about them. Which did you like? Which are you reading yourself? Which did I miss? If you like this video and all the other comic book related videos that I create, and Magic the Gathering and all that good stuff, consider heading over to Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos, and pledging for as little as $1. I totally appreciate it when people do so. It really lights up my heart when I see the email from Patreon that says XYZ became a new patron, part of the VMC crew. Totally appreciate it. There's tier rewards, there's exclusives, all that good stuff right there at the Patreon, starting at $1. But if you can't pledge at the moment, no worries. Simply follow for free to keep up with everything that I do. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in next month's comic haul and giveaway.